Hi friends, good morning. I'm Sneha Sibi, second year student of Visually College of Engineering and Technology. Today, we are here to talk about Git and GitHub, one of the latest tools of coding widely used in the industry. This Git and GitHub workshop is a part of Made the FOSS BWT organized by FOSS VJCET. Today's class is conducted by Mr. Balu M.N, who is a lead engineer of DevOps engineer, Python developer of Sky Networks. I'm proud to say that he is a product of Visually College of Engineering and Technology. He is bringing years of experience. I'm sure you will benefit from this workshop. I welcome Mr. Balu M.N and all the attendees to this class.
Thank you, Sneha. Um, so let me share my screen. Let's start right away. Hey guys, morning. So my name is Balu. Let me give you an introduction of myself. My name is Balu. I'm an alumni of VJCT. I got passed out in 2019. I was in CSC as well. So I had learned the basics of Git in my college days, and it had helped me a lot. Okay, it had helped me during my project reports or while basically we are doing projects or micro projects, like all the things we had done in Git only, and it had helped us a lot. Like my team used to finish in the first place always in terms of time. Okay, like we used to finish faster, and we had like we knew Git, so it really helped us. Okay, and like basically that's why I want you guys to learn Git now itself, because the more you do in Git, the more you are gonna affect you basically in life. Okay, so let me start with Git and GitHub. So, how many of you guys basically have get ahead of this term version controlling? Uh, can you guys please speak or chat, or this will be like really boring? I'm not a fan of online workshops. I prefer offline ones only, but as our events is online, so basically I'm not really a radio, if you can say. Please, guys, I need some response over here. So, how many of you guys have heard of this term version controlling? Anyone? No? Okay, cool. So, version controlling actually means that if we are going to develop a product or a software or anything else, we are gonna keep it. We are gonna make it better and better always. Okay, like if you do some changes on something, and basically it's a new version. Okay, uh, almost anything in the digital world has version. Okay, like if you can take any operating systems or any softwares, let's take Android. Okay, so in Android, like we have like version 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 9 10 11 12. I think it's 13 and 14 is also out. So these are versions. Okay, now why do we even want versions? Right, so that's the question. So if you're going to develop something, if you're going to make a product, that can be anything. It necessarily not has to be code or software or anything. It can be notes, it can be a story, it can be a project report, it can be anything, right? It can be anything that's being within some folders and files. It can be movies, it can be, say, your photos, it can be anything. Okay, so the term version controlling comes from the necessity of like versions itself, right? So Git is a phenomenal tool. It's an outstanding and it's an amazing tool that basically help us for controlling our versions. Okay, now if you talk about it, Git is a a distributed version control system. Okay, so a VCS or a version control system basically means that like we can keep track of our thing. Like it can be whatever, we can keep track of it. Basically we can know that who made what changes and when. Okay, so that's a really important information. Like we can be a group of people, we can be a group of a dozen people or a 2 dozen people or like 100 people, and we can all work in the same thing, and Git will tell you exactly who made what changes and when. Okay, so that's an amazing thing. Like if we are basically if a 100 people changes something in a notepad or a Google Doc or a Google Sheets or anything, it's really hard to keep track of it. Okay, but if we are gonna use it via Git, it's pretty easy. Okay, so Git is just not just a VCS, but it's a distributed version control system, which actually means that this group of a dozen people or 100 people, uh, those guys necessarily not to be in a single room. Okay, they can be around the globe, they can be around the world. So they can sit in a corner somewhere else, and with the help of internet, like they can basically connect with everyone else and their versions of things. Okay, so basically Git coordinates work between multiple developers or people. Okay, uh, and also Git has this amazing feature where we can go back to save states at any point of time. Okay, it's actually called reverting in Git. So this means that if we do something, we did something and it's working perfectly fine, and then somebody did a small mistake, and suppose it broke everything. Okay, it is not a big deal. If you are using Git, we can just revert the last changes, and that should be perfectly fine. Okay, um, now let's address some of the problems that Git basically handles. Okay, um, like have you guys has started your project report or seminar report? Have you guys ever worked on it? I hope you guys are all students and nobody else there is the meeting. Okay. Um, Sneha or Varun, can you please guys answer? Is this all just students or?
Yes, sir. All are students.
Yeah, cool, great. So imagine you are writing a seminar report or a story. Okay, take the seminar report itself. So you guys are probably like a group of 3 or 4 people. Imagine you guys are say Alice, Bob, Charlie, and you. Okay, like 4 people. Say Alice has to identify all the important points and some make some outlines, and then say Bob has to expand all those points with some neat contents, and say Charlie has to proofread those documents, those all the things, and say you guy you has to style the document, like align the product, align the report, or like make some index, align, set the page numbers and everything, use latex, whatever, right? So imagine this is the scenario. Okay, um, now all of you guys people are working on the same file. Okay, uh, now that will cause some issues because when Alice writes some contents, Bob immediately changes that line and expand it, right? And Charlie immediately proofread it and like fix some typos and everything. So and you are also messing up with the spacing and fonts, font size, font styling and everything. So all of you guys are working on the same file, and it can most probably cause a lot of issues. Okay, like some contents can go missing, some content can be overwritten. There will be issues. Okay, um, So this is one of the main thing that Git can handle. Okay, like multiple people can work on the same thing, and not to forget the rejections and submissions. Okay, like you guys will make a report at last, and then you will submit to the teacher or the project guidance or a someone, and then that guy or that teacher can reject the submission. Like she can identify the problem, and she will say that, okay, yeah, okay, this is some errors, you have to fix this, this font won't work, you have to use this font, or you have to add more content. Like there will be many changes going in and out. Okay, so at all these times, uh, everyone usually what they do is like they will make copies and copies on everything. Okay, like they will make a copy and they will make some changes, and then they'll manually copy to some folder. So like they will be go like final one, final two, final three. uh, it goes on. Okay, so this can be avoided if you are using Git, and it can be avoided very efficiently. Okay, now let's talk about how to install Git at first. Okay, um, so I hope you guys use Linux mostly, but it works on Windows and Mac as well. Uh, so I would prefer to use Linux or Mac at all times. For those who love open source, you have to avoid Windows. So in Linux, it's available on our APT, and in Mac, it's available on Brew. You just have to type like this commands like apt install git or brew install git, or if you are guys in using Windows, then you can go to this page and just download some exe file and install it. Okay, now once you install Git, you have to do something. Okay, that's the Git configurations. It's this one only, like Git has to know your name and email address. That's a very basic thing it has to do. Like remember we talked about this, like who made what changes and when. So Git has to answer the question who, right? So Git has to know your name and your email address, and from now onwards, whatever changes that you do in Git or in your product, Git will know that, okay, it's you, Balu, and Balu made these changes. Okay, Git will know that. Now we have to go a little deep on this. So there are some terminologies and concepts that we have to know before we basically start gonna use Git. Okay, uh, these are pretty simple concepts, but it can be a little hard to digest at first. I will try to explain as much as I can. You guys can please like raise hand or do whatever. I will answer those questions. Okay. So the very first thing that you had to know is the term repository. Okay. In Git, there are like two repositories. One is a local repository, and one is a remote repository. Okay. Now the local repository, that actually resides within your computer. Okay. Uh, I hope you guys know the term repository. If not, it's a simple folder, but you can consider as the root folder of your project. Okay. Um, so inside this repositories, you will have multiple folders, and inside this, you can have multiple files. Okay. So it's nothing but a root folder. The term repository is being used everywhere in Unix and Linux and Mac and everywhere. Okay. So we have two repositories. One is a local one and one is a remote one. So and in the local one, you will make changes. It's where you gonna make changes. Like if somebody made some changes, you have to overwrite it, or you have to modify it, or if you have to create some features, or if you have to work anything in the project, you have to do it in a local repository. Okay, which is in your computer. So you can work on your local repository, and then you can copy those changes to the remote repository, which is hosted on a remote server. Um, it's basically nothing but GitHub or any other you know Git remote servers. There's a bunch of them: GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket. There are a lot, but the thing is, you have to use at least one of them. And here today we are going to discuss about GitHub only. Okay, so we would have a local repository and we would have a GitHub repository as well. Now, what's the use of this remote repository, right? So remote repository comes into play when you have to collaborate the project with others. Okay, so the idea is you will make some changes on your computer on in your local repository, and then you will push those changes onto the remote repository, and others can access the changes that you made. Okay, so that's the whole idea, and vice versa as well. Like somebody else can make some changes onto the remote repository, and then you can pull it or fetch it. Okay, so it allows multiple people to collaborate on a project by providing a central location of project code base that all team members can access. Okay. Now the remote repositories has some security features. There are like private and public, and there are like multiple levels of securities there. The private ones means basically only recognized people can access it, and the public one means anyone can read it. Okay. Public, like anyone cannot write the public repositories, but anyone can read it. Okay. Now there's a term commit. Okay, so commit is something uh, very basic in Git. It's like one of the basic in Git. Okay, so Git is nothing but a snapshot of the uh, current version. Okay, the idea is if you make some changes, suppose like there's a new blank repository, or there's a new project you are going to initialize. So like you will create some file and then you will immediately commit that file. Okay, so the idea is at that point of time, Git will take a snapshot and will keep it in its memory. Okay, and then suppose you have to make some more changes onto the file, and then later you are deciding, okay, I don't want these changes, then you can safely go to the last commit, which is a snapshot, and then all the changes will be reverted, you know. So that's the whole idea in commit. um, so in Git you have to commit in a regular interval, so that you can basically keep a at basically you can keep track of your all the changes, and then it can be like a series of timeline. So you have to make regular commits in all the working changes that you ever make. And like as everyone does this, so Git will track who are doing what all, and we can basically track all of them. We can basically collaborate better. So that's the whole idea in commit. You can just, in summary, you can just think it of a snapshot. Okay, at the current stage. Now there's a concept of branching. Okay, so in branching, the idea is we can work on multiple features or multiple versions in the same time. Okay, so Alice can work on the basic outlines, and Bob can work on the content. Charlie can work on the typo, and you can work on the styling in the same time. So that's the whole idea. Like you guys can work on different things in different versions without affecting the main source code. If you just take a closer look at this image, this cyan circles, or the blue circles, it's basically nothing but commits. Okay, now the blue ones is the default and main branch. Okay, it's called master in Git. So the master branch contains, usually we prefer to keep it that way. The master branch contains all the stable thing. Okay, no unstable or no untested code or untested thing should not be in the master. And this other colors that you see, that's different branches. Okay, like so like there was these two commits here, and somebody else created a new branch with this, um, violet, or it's violet. Okay, so like this is a new branch, this violet is a new branch, and that guy made two commits over here. Okay, now these two commits does not affect the main branch. And again, at a later point of time, somebody else created a new branch, which is this green thing, and also this green does not affect this um, blue or the master branch, unless and until we commit the new or we merges the new branches onto the main or the master. Is this clear? This branching concept is like maybe a little tricky, but it's pretty simple, and this has to be understood. Okay, so the whole idea is, if something goes wrong on this blue branch, we can just delete that branch and our master will remain safe. It's not like, somebody else made some changes and everything, went haywire. No, it's not like that. If somebody messed up, then we can just delete or we can just remove those changes safely and nothing will be affected. Okay, so that's the whole point in branching. We can work on different versions, and we can choose whether to, merge those changes or not. So as I said, the default branch name in Git is master. uh, Nowadays GitHub calling is at main because of the political reasons. Anyway, it's the same thing. Okay, like we will use master or we will use main, it's the same thing. Now, as I said, the purpose of branching is simple. We should be able to work on different things, okay, at the same time. And but that also means few other things, like if you had to create a new feature, if you had to develop a new feature, then branching is the way to go. Okay, like we can create a new branch from master or any common branch, and then we can work on it. Okay, it will basically a safe thing, like our existing code base will not be affected by it. The other thing is bug fixes. Okay, imagine we have a bug in the blue branch or the master branch. Then what we will do is that, like, we will create a new branch from the master, and we will make the fix in it, and then we will merge the branch back to master or main. Okay, so that changes will be merged with the existing code base or the existing repository, and that bug can be fixed. Okay, the other thing is collaboration. As I said, like multiple people can work on multiple things, so branches makes our life a lot easier. Okay, so this is the concept of branches. um, I hope you guys are clear. Like we will be doing a hands-on session at the end, but I want you guys to understand this concept first. Okay, so that's our plan. Like we will go through the concept first, and then we will do it. Okay. I hope you guys are clear on this. Any doubts on branches? Okay, tough crowd. Um, cool. Now comes on to the collaboration. Okay, so as of now, we have a local repository in our hand. We made few changes and we committed it, and then we played a little with the branches, and then we are gonna collaborate with others. So the idea is like we have a local repository, we have few commits, and then now we can push those changes on to the remote repository. Okay, so pushing means, like the changes that are available in the local will be moved to the remote. That's pushing. Um, in other words, like the commits that are excess in the local, like basically these two will be in sync, local and remote will be in sync. And once you made few commits in the local extra, and if you do a push, the commits that you made recently will be only pushed. Okay, so that's the idea of pushing, and pulling is the just opposite one, where others will be pushing onto the remote and then you can pull it onto your local. Okay, just to remember, this pushing and pulling basically works on a branch. Okay, like you can commit onto the branches and then you can push that branch. Again, others will be committing on to a branch in the remote repository and then you can pull it. Okay, so this is the idea of pushing and pulling, and this is the merging. Okay, like as we discussed, this would be a master branch. Like we can create a new branch, we can work on it, we can make some changes in the new branch which will not be affected master as of now. But if you want to, we can merge the new branch onto the master, and then master will be having all these new commits as well. Okay, so those changes will be here. uh, so like as you guys work on a new thing, anybody else can also create a new branch, work on it, and then merge again. Okay, so this can go in parallel, like you can mix and match your work at your will. Okay, the only thing that you have to consider is that the developers or the people who are in the repository or in the project has to know like what all feature they are working and what all branches they are going to work. So that's the only thing that they need to know. um, and we should be good. So this is the git merge. Okay, like this is a command in git. Actually we can basically merge one branch onto another. In this case we can merge the branch your work onto master. Okay, so this is the concept of merging. And there's a last commit I wanted you guys to know, that's called forking. Okay, the idea is simple. Somebody else would have a repository. Okay, I suppose this is a public one. This is called like Joe's GitHub repo. This is a repo of say some cool game. Like the Joe is working on a cool game. That's his repository. That's his project. Okay, he's the sole owner of the cool game. Then but imagine that you are amazed by that repository, uh, and you want to make some changes in his uh, repository as well. You want to contribute to his project. Then what you will do is that first you will fork it. Why? Because as I said earlier, this would be a public repository. Even though that's public, that doesn't means that you will have right access onto this repository. No, you won't have right access. You will, but you can read it. You will have read access, but you won't have right access. Like you cannot write onto it. You cannot push onto it. Okay, but what you can do is that you can fork it, which means that whatever is there in his repository in his project will be copied to your account in your repository. Okay, so like it was Joe here, it is like you here. Once you fork it, all the commits, all the branches, and all the changes that Joe made in his school game will be copied to a new project in your account named as the same. It will be has of same name, but it will be in your account, which means that you can do whatever with it. Okay, you can write onto it, you can push onto it. So the idea is you will fork it, you will pull it, or you will clone it onto your computer. You will make the changes. You will make the changes that you want to, as you wish to, and then you will push it to your repository. Okay, once you are confident that okay, this is a cool feature that you just developed, maybe Joe will love this, then what you can do is you can create something called a pull request to his repository, which is nothing but a so pull request is nothing but a request to the owner saying that okay, this is some changes that I made, I would like to merge my changes onto yours. Okay, now what Joe will do is that Joe will review your pull request. Joe will review each and every line that you made, or each and every changes that you made, each and every line that you wrote, everything Joe will review it. And if Joe accept your pull request and chose to merge it, then yes, your changes will be reflected on Joe's. Unless and until Joe accept this and merges this, no, your changes will be in your repository, but it won't be in the original one. Okay, this is the whole idea of forking, and this is why open source exists nowadays. Okay, so the open source people loves forking. So this is how open source contributions are being made. Okay, like now there are like a lot of cool repositories and whatnot. Like you guys want to, like as you guys are from FOSS, like you would basically love to make open source contributions, and this is the way to go. Like if you want to contribute to a project without having direct right access to the original repository, you have to fork it. Once you fork it, you are free to go wild. Like you can do whatever in your account, you can do whatever in your project, you can make some cool features, you can fix some bugs, you can make say documentations, you can do some comments on code, you can make your own changes, your own features, and then at the end you can submit a pull request to the original repository to the owner, okay, requesting that your changes can be incorporated to the main code base. Okay, so that was forking. Okay. Yeah, now there's two more terms that we have not discussed. One's the clone. Okay, clone is nothing but pulling the code base for the first time. Okay, imagine somebody else created a repository. It's on the GitHub or in some remote repositories. Now the first time you have to clone it. Cloning means pulling all the branches and pulling all the command all the commit histories, all the changes in this repository, whatever is there, it will all be cloned to your local repository. Okay, while pulling means we assumes that we already have the local repository connected to the remote repository, and then while pulling means like we are gonna uh, get only the latest changes in the branch you are specifying. But cloning does not mean that cloning will pull all the branches, all the changes, everything for the first time. Okay, so there's that. Now there's one more term called stashing. Okay, so stashing means, imagine you are again writing say a story. Okay, you are writing a story, you are a writer, or you are writing a poem or whatever. As you write, you feel like no, this is not the way to go. uh, I want to clear this one. Okay, but there's thing that okay, you have already worked on this so far. It's not wise to trash this completely. So what you will do is that like you will stash those changes. So stashing is like it won't be a part of any branches. It won't be committed, but we can keep those changes. It will not be part of commit history. It will not be part of anything, but in your local you can keep those changes safely while you are working on something else. Okay, maybe then you can come back to this stash, you can fetch the stash, and then you can continue working on that thing again. So you can do all this stuff in Git. So stashing is the way to keep something without actually keeping something. Uh, so this was it about the main terminologies. Okay. Uh, Now this is something you guys want to know. As I said, there are two main concept in Git. One is the local repository, which is like this part, and one is the remote repository. Okay. Now all these arrows, they basically mean some Git commands which will do something for us. Okay, so the first thing is that we can add something. Okay, like the command is git space add space some file name. Okay, which means that we can we will basically tell if we add a file to git which is actually essentially you know it will be equal to us if you are saying to git hey git please, this is a new file, this file has some changes, I want to commit this. That's called the adding process. Okay, so there's something called staging area. So in staging area we will choose to accept or reject some changes. We can add some, we can make some file, we can make some changes in the working directory, and once we made, we can add those files, uh, and then we can commit it to the local repository. So this is the most basic workflow in a git, like to git add, git commit, two step. Okay, once we made the commit in the local repository, we can push it to a remote repository. Now there are some more commands, like one is to git pull, where as we discussed, like it is basically pulling the latest changes from a branch from remote repository to the local repository. So that's git pulling. And then there is a command called git checkout. Okay, so checkout works on two things. It works on files as well as the branches. We can switch branches using git checkout. Maybe there are some git master branch. Suppose you are currently in git master branch, and then suppose you want to switch to a feature branch of yours in which you are working on, then you can just say git checkout your feature branch name. At that time, the local repository will change to will be pointed to working directory, and then you can actually make the new changes in the feature branch. Again, you also have merge, where we can combine multiple branches, or we can merge multiple branches. So this image or this concept will be a little hard for you as of now, but once we make some changes, this is going to be a piece of cake. Okay, trust me. Cool. So I guess we can move away from git just for a while. We can just take a look at GitHub now. Now, as we discussed earlier, GitHub is a remote um, server where we basically host our Git repositories. GitHub is a free one. It also has some paid versions, but essentially anyone can use it for free. So it allows us to use Git on the cloud. It provides backup for our repositories. It has a nice website. It's a pretty good, UI for a Git remote repository. It has some uh, features called like public and private repository. It has some like it basically offers a lot, but as far as Git is concerned, it has public and private repositories for individuals. For teams and organizations, it provides like a lot of enterprise edition tools and everything. But for people, for individual contributors, this is pretty much we can use. Okay. So like there are alternatives for GitHub. As I said, we have like GitLab, we have Bitbucket, we have something from Alibaba. Almost all the cloud providers have something to offer for hosting remote repositories. Even GitLab is a open source one. We can basically host our own remote repositories in cloud. That's pretty much about GitHub. Now we can do an example. Okay, so this would be pretty much what we are gonna do. We will be creating a repository. We will be working with a few branches. We will check out all its operations and everything, and we would be viewing the repositories. Okay, using command line only. Okay. Can you guys see my terminal? No. Varun?
No.
No. Okay. Let me share again. How about now?
Yes, sir.
Cool. You can call me Balu only. Okay. So, okay. Let me go to some. I'm creating a new folder. This will be my repository. Okay. I'm gonna name this as say test repo. Okay. Now I have a blank repository. Okay. As you can see, like there's nothing on my repository as of now. This will be our repository. Now you have to install Git. I already have my I already have my Git installed. Like in Mac, you can do this brew install Git. If you are gonna use Linux, then you can basically do this. So far, I have installed mine. But after the installation, you please make sure that you have configured your Git using this command. Like in your case, you should do this like with your name. Okay. And also your email address. Yeah, you can do this. Okay. So once you configured your Git, Git basically knows who you are. Okay. Now the command is basically now we want to create a new repository, correct? Its command is init, which will initialize a new GitHub repository. Sorry for my sound, guys. I have a small cold. Okay, you can just do this. git init. Okay, and now you can see some changes over here. The first would be, you can see there's a new folder created. Okay, it's called .git, which is a hidden file or a hidden folder. Okay, now this basically means that now you are on a GitHub repository. Okay, and you guys can also get currently I'm on branch main. Now this is something we see because I'm using a nice shell. If you are still using some bash or anything, then it's fine. You can just do this git branch. You can see that, okay, there's no branch over here. Cool. Now let me create a file. Okay, let me create a simple file, say a.py. I'm a Python developer as well, so I will prefer Python always. Now you can see that now there's a command called git status. You have to use this at all times. Okay, git status every time. So this will say a few things. Once you do a git status, it will tell you you are on branch main. Okay, there are no commits yet, and there is a new untracked file. Okay, like even git says to us, you can use git add and our file name to include what will be committed. Okay, now we can do as git says, can just say, okay, I can just say that, okay, I'm gonna add this new file. You can again do a git status, which will tell you you are again on branch main and there are no commits yet, but there's a file that is added and the changes to be committed. Okay, now if we are gonna create a new file again, say b.py, and if we are again doing a git status, which will tell you again you are on branch main, there are no commits in, and there's a change to be committed, and there is an untracked file. Okay, so the whole idea is now if I do a commit, this file will be added, this file will be committed, and this file won't. Okay, so that was this image. Okay, like we can have git add and we can have git commit. We can basically add multiple files, and we can choose not to add few files which will be leave out of the commit. I hope you guys are clear on this. I will explain it once again. So we can keep files out of the commits by not adding those files. Okay, or else in other words, we can choose which all files to be committed using the add command. Like if I do a git add, which will basically say that, okay, you have to come, we are basically saying to git that, okay git, you can commit this file as well, or technically you can add the changes in this file to the commit. Okay, now I can say, let me create some changes in this file. Okay, now if we do a git status again, you can see that this file has been modified. This is a little more complex to understand, maybe, but not that much. Now, there is two versions of the same file. Okay, like one version was added, and but like there is a version of this same file which is not added yet. Okay, now if I do a commit, this thing will be this change in this file will be committed, but this won't be. I hope you guys are following me. Now if I can do a git add again, and if I do a status again, it will say that okay, there's a new file to be added, which is a.py, and there's a untracked file b.py. Okay, so this is the adding. This is the add command. Okay, we are not, in summary, we are choosing which all files to add and which all versions of the files to be added to the commit. Okay, now I can say that, sorry, git commit -m and some, okay, changes. You have to know something. You have to know that along with the commits, there has to be a message. Okay, now this message has to be short, but it should tell you for the future what all did you do in this commit. Understood? So like in this commit, you are gonna add only this file a.py, and you are basically saying that okay, you are basically initializing this repository, and there's a first initialization changes, and then there is a.py file we have added. Okay, now if I do this, you can see that okay, there is a like this is the file, like only one file was changed. There's 2+ insertions. Okay, like the 2 lines changes in that file, and this was the file. Okay, now if I do a git status, you can see that you are on branch main, and there is a untracked file. Okay, which means that a.py file has been committed. Now the question arises how to see the commit, right? That's what this log command is for. You can just type git log, and you would see all the commits that you made in the current branch. You can see that you are on branch main. Okay, you are on branch main, and if you do a log, you can see that there's a new commit. Commit is actually called message was init changes added a.py file. That commit was basically created on main branch. It was authored by Balu M.N, which is me, and it was authored at this time. Okay, so this is the first thing that we discussed. Git tracks who made what changes and when. Okay, who made what changes and when. Okay, now like multiple people can do the same thing. They can all merge into this main branch maybe, and then if you do a git log, it will list all the changes done by all these people and what all they have done. Okay, we can do this again. I can basically say create this thing again. Let's do something little more. I hope you guys know Python. Let me create a list, say of 1 to 10. Okay. So 1 to 9 only, right? And this is me working on my project. Okay. Now imagine I have made a new feature. Okay. I have made a new feature which is to print say 1 to 10. Okay. Like I can simply, oh no, okay. Python 3 arrow Python. Invalid syntax, forgot a comma. Okay. And I did use a double colon. Okay. Okay. Simply I made a fix onto the current branch. Basically I'm on the branch main, and the existing version of air.py would raise me this error, right? So I basically made a fix now, and also I made a new feature which is to print 1 to 10. Okay. Now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna let's see what status says. Again, it says that okay, air.py has been modified. Okay, air.py has been basically Git as of now tracks air.py. Anything and anything in the any changes or any new changes in the file air.py will be tracked by Git. Okay, Git will know that okay, somebody made this new changes. Air.py is not the same version as of the last commit. It has been changed. Git already knows that. So Git basically says that okay, this file has been modified. If you have to commit it, you have to add it. Okay. It also says that if you have to discard the changes, then you have to do this command git restore air.py. Like if I do a git restore air.py as of now, it will go back to the previous state. It will revert all the changes that I just made. This fixing bug and this printing 1 to 10 will be reverted. I don't want to revert now. Then let me just commit again. Okay. I'm saying that air.py. I'm saying that fixes for air.py. Printing feature for 1 to 10. Okay, now when I tried to commit, it did not commit. Why? Because it again says okay, changes not come stage for commit, like there's a unadded file. So basically I forgot to add this file. Let's see again. Let add this file and let's see the commit again. Now it got committed. Okay, so the flow is add commit, like we have to add it before commit. That's the whole flow. Okay, every time you have to add it. Now basically that also got committed. Now let's see the log again. Okay, if you see the logs now, it says that okay, there is no new commit. Okay, in the two commits, one of them, this was the first one, that is which one we created for the initializing, and then we added a error.py file as well. Now I'm saying okay, there's a new commit fixes for error.py printing feature for 1 to 10. Okay, you would also see one more thing in this thing, which is this thing. Okay, this hash. Every commit in Git is being identified with a unique identifier, which is this hash. Okay, you can use this hash to see what all changes that you had made. Okay, you can simply just copy this hash and then you can apply it on another command which is called show. Okay, you can just say that git space show space your commit id, and it will show you what changes that you had made. See, in this thing, basically, it says, okay, this was the commit. The commit was made on main. It was ordered by Balu. It was ordered on 12 o'clock, 4 past 12 o'clock in May 10, Wednesday 23, in this time zone. Basically, I'm in India. Then it says that, okay, what the comment Balu left while he made this commit, which was fixes for a.py printing feature for 1 to 10, and then git shows which files was added. It basically says that, okay, in a.py you can see this thing only. This is a little confusing to understand. You can just leave this for now. Essentially the blue thing says that line numbers. Okay, uh, you can just use this only. So the red means one line has been removed, and the green means a new line has been added. Okay, in this thing you can see that, okay, this was the first line. This file has been removed where it says print double quotes, this is double quotes a.py double quotes file double quotes and closing bracket. Okay, that file, that line has been replaced by this line. Okay, so git identifies the changes in the file by identifying the changes in the line. Okay, so git handles things line by line. Okay, now git understood that, okay, this line has been replaced by this line. Even though I just made the two changes, git basically tracks our files like this only by lines. And then I also made three more lines. One was a blank line, one was to initialize a list from 1 to 10, and the last line was to print that variable. Okay, if you see the first commit, you can just again show it, git show the command id. You can see that again that file has been added only. You can see 00 here, which means that, like, there was no lines at all. Two lines was added. One first line was a blank, and then second line was a print statement. Okay, so this is how we see things on repository. Okay, like there's one more thing I can show you. Now let's work on the B thing. Okay, b.py. Okay, what should we do? You can just say print. This is from b.py file. Okay, now there is one more cool thing, which is git diff. Okay, you can just say git diff space your file name, and this file name will this command will show you the changes that you had made. Okay, we had to add that as well. Start.py. Oh no. Just a second. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm using a outdated version of Git. Okay. Cool. It's fine. So basically, this is how we things on Git. Okay, using CLI. I guess you can use different branch. And yep. Usually Git this diff works on a file as well as the branch as well. Okay, anyway, using the diff command, you can see what all changes are to be are modified. Okay, like we can basically compare things using diff command, and we can use branches, we can use files, we can use hashes, we can use everything, we can use all the git entities to diff to see all the changes that we made there. Okay, we can even compare two branches using diff command. Okay, or we can compare two files, two versions of the same file. We can do all the circuits using diff command. Okay, so this was the first thing that I wanted to discuss with you, how to create a new repository using initialize, and then to see the changes, status, add command, commit command, log, show, and diff. Okay, so this is how we creates a repository and works on the repository, making commits and everything. Okay. um, okay, so right now we have a new file, we wrote by, let me add it. Oh, sorry. So the G, basically I made some shortcuts in my laptop, so it's essentially the same as git status. Okay. Okay, so we have the new file already. We can just add this file, git.py. It's already added. Let me come. Sorry again. Git commit minus added git.py file. Okay. Now, sorry. Okay. Now we can see that there has been 3 commits. 1, 2, 3, and all the commits have some changes. Now let's switch to the, okay, as of now, do you have any doubts on this? Now I really want a sound from you guys. Oh, I'm so sorry. You guys said no on something. Can you guys please say what was it?
സാർ അത് നമ്മുടെ സ്ക്രീൻ വിസിബിൾ ആണോ എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചതാണ്.
Oh, okay, cool. ഇവിടെ എല്ലാവരും മല്ലൂസ് ആണോ ബേസിക്കലി? Like, is there anyone from outside Kerala? Something I don't know what this is, man. Okay. Cool. So, like, do you have any doubts on this so far? Like, add, commit, anything? Like, this is pretty basics, and once once you master this, you are gonna do wonders over here. Okay. Now let's go to branches if you can, if you don't have any doubts. No? Okay, let's switch to branches. Okay, so far we have created a repository, we have made some changes, we have we went through the changes, we see what all changes were made, who made those changes, when those changes was made, all those things. Okay, now we are gonna do the branches. Okay, as of now you can see in which branch are we, in branch main, right? Now we have to create a new branch. There are 2 ways to do it. The first way is to create a new branch and then check out to it. As I said earlier, git checkout is the git checkout is the command basically that we uses to switch between trees or switch between the branches. Okay, yeah, one more thing. So if you have any doubts on the Git CLI, all you have to do just come type your command so far and do a help on that. Okay, so Git will show you, the CLI will show you all the possible commands that you can use. As you can see, like there's like add, mv, restore, rm, like there are a bunch of things that I have missed on purpose because this is an introduction thing. But anyways, you can go through all of this, and I hope you guys will do. And if you guys have any doubts on the CLI, it's already there. Like you can just say search git add, and if you are not sure what to do after this, you can just type help on this, and git add, like it will basically show you what this adding is. It will explain, and it will show all the options over here. uh, or else you can use ChatGPT as usual. Okay, or YouTube, or you can even ping me. I will show you. Okay, so this is not a big deal. Now, as I was saying, there are two ways to do the branching. If you are going to use switch to new branch, there are two ways. The one thing is you can create a new branch. Say some you are going to create some dev branch. Once you press enter, a new branch will be created, and then you can check out to that branch. Okay, like you will again do git checkout dev. So once you do git branch dev, the branch will be created, but you will be on the main branch still. You will be still on the main branch. The branch will be created in background, but you will be staying on the same branch as you are as of now. But when you do a git checkout, then you will actually switch to that branch. Okay, but as all the developers are really lazy, we have shortcuts for everything. So this thing would be like you can do a git checkout and say -b. Okay, and you can say just this branch name. So what this will do is that this will actually check out to a new branch itself. So it will basically create a new branch, and we will be checked out onto that branch. Once you do this, you can see this. Okay, switch to a new branch dev. Now if you do a git branch, you can see two branches over here. Okay, you will see a dev with a green and a star, and you will see a main. I hope you guys can see my screen. Okay, you can see this green thing with a star, which basically means that we are on this branch. This is the current branch. Okay, and there's a new branch as well, which is main. Okay, uh, okay. Now if you do a ls or l a minus ltrh, okay, you can see that there's a a.py, there's our b.py, and there was the git folder where which was initialized while we creating a new local repository. Okay, so I hope you guys are clear as of now, like how to switch a checkout to a new branch. Okay, now you can say that okay, our main branch is the stable one. Okay, now we are basically working on the development branch, or the dev branch. So in this dev branch, we can go crazy, like we can say in b.py. Okay, just do something. You made some you basically made some new crazy changes on the new dev branch. Okay, and again you will see that okay, the file has been modified on git status. Okay, sorry, this is muscle memory. I will type G only usually. Okay, so on your typing git status, you can see that okay, this B file has been modified. You can simply commit the new again. We missed to the file. Okay, you guys do know this, right? Basically, to use semicolon and use multiple commands in the same line. Okay, so now we have created a commit on the developing branch. Okay, and you can do a lot of things while adding things. You guys are familiar with this thing, right? The dot and dot concept in bash. If not, I will explain you. It's very simple. So um, if you want to go to say, if you want to go to out of the repository, out of this folder, what you usually do, like basically you will do this only, right? You will go dot slash, which means that like you will be out of the current folder. You will just go one level back, correct? We So basically that means dot means its parent directory, and uh, dot means current repository, okay, or current folder. So you can actually do this C D E F G. There's a piece is already there, right? So E F G H. Okay, basically I'm creating multiple text files at the same time. Okay, so the test command will initialize some blank files. That's it. So if I do a git status again, which basically means that you have all new these files to add. Okay, you have d.text, you have e.text, f.text, g.text, s.text. So all these files are untracked, which means git does not know these files at all. Okay, git does not even know what its contents are when it was created, nothing. So for it, we have to add those files. So what's the usual way of adding this? We will add d.text space e.text space f.text. We can go so on, and we can go on and on. Okay, like we can maybe do this because this is only 5 files, but what if it was a 100 files? Okay, you cannot do this, right? So what you can do is you can basically either can choose to do this. Okay, you can simply say git space add space dot. Okay, now this will mean that all these files will be added at once. If you do a git status again, which will basically means that all these files has been added. Okay, so all the files we can use this one, like to git star git dot, or you can actually choose, let me just reset this. Yeah, so the git reset command will basically unadd these files. This will be moved back to the working directory in this thing. We had basically added files onto staging area. While adding, if you do a git reset, it will go back to this state. Okay, working directory. There are types of reset actually. Like if I had done this hard, then all these files would have been deleted as well. It will basically go back to latest commit state, but we don't want that. We just wanted to be unadded. Now there's one more way to add these files in total. You can just use star.text. So what this will do is that it will pattern recognize the file name and it will add all those files. So anything which start with the file name, then .text would be added. Okay, so you can do all these funny business as usual. You are working in Bash or any other CLIs. Okay, I just wanted to mention this. Now let me show you what does this. Now let me just add this something in d.text. Okay, it's a text file, right? Hello world. No. Okay. So this file has been modified d.text. Now, which means that this file has some content as well, and these are all just empty files. Okay, new files. Now, if I do a git reset hard, okay, if I do a git reset hard, what it basically is, it will basically go back to a latest commit state. There are no modified changes. If you do a g, nothing. Okay, you cannot see all those files as of now. All those files has been deleted. So which means that if you do a git reset hard at any point of time, it will go back to the latest commit state at this point. Okay, all the changes in the working directory would be deleted. So you need to play safe every time you do a git reset. Okay, you don't want to do a git reset hard unless and until you want to flush out all the changes that you made. Okay, cool. So this was it pretty much about the branching. Okay, let's do something as well. So on git log you can see there's a new file, right? There's a new commit, right? Added a crazy loop in b.py. Okay, now let's do something. Let's switch to main. Sorry, again git checkout main. Okay, now this will be switched back to main. So when we do a git log here, you cannot see that last commit, right? Added that crazy loop. Why? Because it's in the different branch, right? So that commit is actually only available on the development branch, not in the main branch. So it is exactly like what we had shown here. No. Branch. Yeah, so we have our main branch. In the main branch, we have all these three commits. After these three commits, we made a new branch called dev, and we made some changes over here. Okay, now we can do something. We can actually merge it. We can merge the development branch onto the main branch, and then we want that extra commit that we had added in development branch to be in the main as well. Okay, so we can just say git merge dev. So this is the command. So merge command will merge any branch that we are specifying onto the current branch that we are residing. Okay, like right now we are on the main branch and we are basically asking git to merge the development branch onto the current branch. So development onto main. Okay, if I do this, so using some fast forward algorithm in git has merged development branch onto main. Okay, now if you do git log, see in the main branch we can see this commit, right? Like even if we just cat the b file, it will see the latest changes. Or if you do a git log and then just copy the commit, and then just say git show commit id. See, the latest changes has been added onto the main branch. Okay. So this is the idea of merging the branch. I hope you guys are clear. Any doubts on this? Anything like on the switching branch or keeping different commit histories in different branches? You know, working on the fixes or working on different features at the same time. No, cool. Okay. Okay. Now I guess you know things to work on the local repository. Okay. Now the last part, collaboration with others. Okay. As of now, you guys has only a local repository, right? Now say you want to invite your friend to the this. Cool. Thanks, man. So you want to invite your friend to the this project as well. You need some contribution from him. Okay. Imagine you are not a strong guy in say some shell scripting or anything, or in Python or in Java, like you but you want some help from him. Like you cannot do it, you need his help. Now what you should do is that you need to create a remote repository, and you want to push all the changes that you had made. Uh, you want to create a oh no, yeah, you want to create a remote repository, and you want to push all the things that you had made to the remote repo, so that he can or she can uh, fetch the changes to his or her local and then work on it. Okay, so to that we need to go to GitHub, uh, go to your profile. So this is my profile. Okay, in this profile you can basically see all the things that we are working on and everything. Cool. In the repositories, there's a new thing called like new button is there. Okay, you can set any name. You can say test repo that you had made the same. You can put some description if you want to. This is a test repo for made during Git and GitHub workshop. Okay, you can choose this to be public or private. For the time being, I'm just keeping it as public only, and then I am creating a repository. Okay, now GitHub will prompt us to do few things. Okay. Like the two things are like if you already have existing repository, then we only need to do this, right? But if you want to create a new repository, then we can do all of these things. Okay, so basically these are the things that we had already done. We had done a git init, we had done some, we had added some files, we had committed, we had created branches, we had, yeah, so we had done all these things. Okay, basically we are on this point, we already have a repository, right? Now all we want to do is that we want to just copy these things and paste over here. One thing you want to know is that there are two types of authentication in Git, where whether or like how to push and pull to the repositories. Like basically this is a private thing, right? Or a public thing, but if you have to push it, you need some credentials to connect with the repository, the remote repository. Okay. I can do this because here I am using a SSH authentication, which already I have set up. But if you are not, then you need to set up one. Okay, like this is, as of now we are using SSH authentication. It would be some time to set up those things, but anyway, let me show you that as well. Okay, so I'm assuming that you are using Linux or Mac. All you have to do is that just go to your .ssh folder. There will be this folder every time. Okay, go to this folder. In this you can just ssh keygen. Yeah, you can just create, you can just enter this. You don't have to pass anything unless, okay, let me create a new file or some stuff. You don't have to pass this thing. Okay, like I already have this file and I don't want to lose that thing, so I'm basically creating it to a new file, but you don't have to pass anything. You can just press enter, enter, enter and go on, and then at the end you can see that this file has been created. Okay, I hope you guys know authenticate. You guys know key authentication. If you are not basically, the thing is we will have a private key and a public key. Okay, so this is my public key and this is my private key. If I do a cat on this thing, this is my public key and this is my private key. Okay. So we can set up authentication using these two things. All you have to do is that just go to your profile. In the profile, there are some settings. No. Settings. Okay, in settings you will see something like this, SHN You can refer this for YouTube or anywhere else. You might not have some keys over here, then, but I do a lot. Just create a new file and then just say some name. Okay. Um, such a name so that you can identify this thing, and then you can just paste your public key, not private key. You have to paste your private key here. Okay, once you do this, you will see the keys is over here, and then you are good to go. Okay. Cool. Now you can just, you don't have to know how it works or anything. It's some pretty advanced authentication system. Basically it will your laptop will use this key, this public key and this private key to connect with GitHub from now onwards. Okay, so you don't have to use any username or password or anything. Cool. Now you can just copy this thing and then paste over here. Cool. Now there's a new term for us to learn, which is origin. Okay. In Git, okay, so this is the thing. There's something called remote. Okay. As we discussed, like there is a local repository and a remote repository. Okay. And Git, our Git client, Git CLI client identifies remote repositories under the name remote. Okay, you can just say git remote help and it will show you few things. You can see that this is how we add new remotes. Okay, now origin is nothing but a simple variable which I am assigning this remote repository onto, which means that if you really want to, you can keep a single local repository and you can push the same thing, or you can work along with multiple remote repositories. You can say you can create one on GitHub, or you can say create one on GitLab, or you can create another one on GitHub. Okay, so you can manage say these three remote repositories. But if those are essentially the same code base, then you don't have to keep multiple local repositories. You can basically keep only one. So that's the whole idea. Now to verify that this remote has been added, you can see that there's a V thing here, which is to verify or verbose. I can just say git remote minus V, and it will show that okay, there's one added, which is under the name origin, and this is this repository. Okay. Now we all are set. Now our local repository and remote repository has been connected, and even via a secure authentication system. Okay. Um, now all you have to do is to use the git push command. Okay. Now the push command is like this: git push origin main. Okay, so current branch is main. Now I'm saying okay, now we can push our main branch to the remote repository. So pushing means what? Like from local to the remote repo, right? So if you do this, you can see that our branch has been pushed to the remote repo. Okay, you can just do a reload on this page, and then you can see all the things that we made. Okay, you can see we only pushed the main branch, not the point. Okay, like we did not push dev yet, we only pushed the main branch. This was my last commit around 21 minutes ago. There are like two files. You can see all these files, all the commit that we had made, right? And in the commits, if you go to commits, you can see all the commits. So this is essentially the git log itself, right? If you click on this, it will basically show us the show command, git show that hash. So this was what basically we had seen, and this was red and this was green, if you remember, right? Cool. So this is how we do the push. Okay. The same way someone else can do the pull as well. Now let me do something else. Now let me push dev as well. Okay. To push a branch, we don't necessarily has to be in the same branch. Okay, like we can be in the main branch. Also, we can push the dev branch. Okay, it necessarily shouldn't affect. Okay. So this is how we are doing things. Imagine we are going to, okay, sorry, this is a checkout command, git checkout dev. Now let me add a new file. Okay, git add. Oh, again, I'm so sorry. So this is like git push origin dev only. Okay. So I did a git push origin dev. Now we can see that development branch had pushes less than a minute ago. Okay. Now we can see if we go to this thing, this line, this page, or if we go to this, we can raise a PR. Okay, we can raise a PR, but let's do it the right way. Let's go to v.text and say hello world. Okay. Git. I made some changes again. I pushed it again. Okay. I'm just reloading this page. Now you can see that there has been new file added, and it has like so and so changes. Now we are going to receive pull request to the main branch. Okay. Now what this actually means that we are asking the owner of this repository uh, to merge our development branch onto the main branch, which means that the changes that we have done in the development branch, we are basically asking owner of this repo or the reviewer to merge these changes onto the main. So that's what we are asking through a pull request. Now the owner can choose to accept or approve or request, like he can do as he wants. But this is how we do things in most of the companies and everywhere. Okay, like we will be working on some development branch or some feature branches, and then there will be some owner of this repository or the main branch, and then like we will ask him or her to review our PR and to accept it. Okay, so this is how we do things in a nutshell in Git. Okay. I guess that's all I wanted to discuss with you guys. I don't think I have missed anything else. Let me see. So we had check out, merge, push, pull, everything. Yep. So do you have any doubt on the pull request? Because like I know you guys are gonna be working in open source, so I want you to be thorough with the pull request and everything. Okay. Yeah, and normally the main branch will be protected, which means that a normal developer or some like only the owner or the admin can merge PR onto master or directly push onto master. Like usually access to the main or master branch is restricted. Okay. As this is a simple thing, I have not set up anything, but you can basically protect this branch. Nobody can directly push to or merge to this. Okay, so any doubt on this, guys, or like in general anything in about Git? So we had basically gone through all of these things. We had created a repository. We had made some changes. We saw all the changes that we made. We played a little with branches, checking out to multiple branches, making changes, pushing those, pulling those. Like pulling the same only. Like we can do the same command, so somebody else can directly pull the development branch. As of now, there are no new changes in development branch, so it will say it's already up to date.
Sir,
Yeah.
we are having a doubt. Like, how can we
Yeah,
use
sure,
this
please.
GitHub pages for hosting a
GitHub
website?
pages.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. All you have to do, just create some index.html. Make sure that this file is there. Okay, and just add this file. Okay. guitar index.html. Okay, let's push this quickly. So we have index.html here as well. So let me just merge this branch. I cannot accept because I'm the one who raised the same PR. Anyway, this PR merging is similar to the local merging only. Okay. So the new change that we just made, index.html, now it's in the main. Okay. Now all I have to do is that go to settings, I guess. So in that there's something called pages. Okay. In this pages, you can see that you can basically host something. You can just choose your branch, deploy from my branch, and you can just choose your branch main, and then just save it. If you want to, you can set a custom domain. Other than that, I don't think anything else is there. I think it should be up by now. I'm not sure. Like this is my home page, but under this, you should be able to see this. Test report. Test report. Yep, it's been rendered. It's very simple. For the first time, I'm not sure because I already have my page set up. It's pretty easy only. If you want to create some portfolio or anything, you only have to do one thing. Just create a new repository with the same name as your username. So as of now, my username is like Balu M.N only, BALUMN. So I should have some repository. Yeah, I already have this repository. Okay, and it not this. I think so. No, not this one. I think it's something like Balu M.N.GitHub.io. Yeah, right. So like just to create a repository and make sure that that repository would be in the same format. Okay, like your username dot github.io. Okay, and you can create some HTML and CSS and whatnot over here. Once you do this, once you made all the changes, once you push the branch, you can again go to settings, you can go to pages, and then you can deploy a branch over here. Okay, and that's it pretty much. If you want to, you
Okay,
can
sir,
set in
that's
custom
clear.
domains and sorry.
That was clear.
Yeah, cool. If you want to, you can set some custom domain as well. Only if you want to. Other than that, nothing else. Like mine would be. I don't want to show this. I had made this like ages ago. I'm not sure if it's up here. Yeah, it's pretty cringy, I know, but it was done by like a long time ago. Anyway, so this would be your host repositories. This host page, okay, the home page. This would be, and then for each and every repo that you are actually making, it would be like underscore this like this underscore your repo name. Okay, it should be, yeah. So there was nothing in our index.html. That's why. Okay, I think I have a copy of our website as well. No. Yep. Cool. So this is my copy of our website. I had done the first version of our website. Cool. It's still there, man. Memories. Okay. Anyway, that's the whole idea. Like if you want to, you can just echo some hello world or something. On to our and once you made the changes, like within few minutes you should be able to see all the changes that you had made, but it will take few minutes to reflect here. I think 5 or 6 minutes at the top. You should be able to see the index.html after few minutes, that hello world that I just typed. Okay. So this is the whole idea of GitHub pages. Yeah, I hope you guys are clear now. Yeah, anything else? Varun, Sneha, anything else is there? Okay. Cool. I guess that's it then. I can give you like 2 or 3 minutes we have left. You can show the chorus now. Still it.
Good afternoon, all. I'm Sneha be back again to thank everyone, especially Mr. Balu M.N, for sharing his experience with the subject matter. He navigated us through the rough matters of coding. Thank you, sir. Before I forget, let me thank our college management for giving this opportunity to conduct this workshop. There are lots of people worked behind the scene to make this event a success, especially our FOSS coordinator, Ms. Senator Matthew, and the team of event coordinators. How can I leave the stage without thanking you, the attendees? You made this event a great success, and I hope you will benefit from this workshop in your future. Once again, thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Hello. Those who have filled the attendance form can leave the meeting.
Okay, so I guess I would be heading as well. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.